Hello everybody, welcome back to another Mortal Jellyfish video, and now you know what it is. It's a video about should you buy Axolotl Amy. Now, this kit basically, just a quick overlook of it, is throughout the game you'll be able to go into the shop and you'll be able to buy these axolotls. Starting off with the blue one, which will offer you a shield axolotl, the orange one, which will offer you a damage buff axolotl, the gray or white one, which will offer you break speed, and then the final one, the pink one, which will offer you healing, which basically means if you take enough damage, it'll heal you. Alright, so a few things I want to talk about these axolotls real quick is that this guy, the blue one, anytime you get hit, he will fly to you, or if a teammate of yours gets hit, he will fly to him as long as they're within like an 11 block radius, roughly is what we tested it. It'll fly over to him and give him. That's going to give a 10 shield. This is 20 iron for a 10 shield. Pretty good deal. The next one, the orange one here, he's going to give a damage buff, but for whatever reason, when we were testing the damage buff in like custom games, the damage isn't changing at all, whether it's me or an ally on my team. It does not seem to be buffing damage. Not sure if it's just bugged in custom games or if this axolotl is actually bugged and not currently doing anything. I'm not sure. I think it might be getting too slow because most of the axolotls respond to the hit that like you would take to shield you. So I think maybe it's just not getting the damage buff applied before you hit the target, because you're hitting that target and then it's registering damage before it's registering the damage buff. So there might be a bug with that. Not quite sure. Break speed axolotl. Oh, by the way, damage one's going to cost you 50 iron, and then the break speed white axolotl is going to increase your break speed. It's not like a crazy break speed fast, but that one's going to cost you 3 emeralds. Probably the least important out of all these axolotls. And then the pink one's going to cost you 6 emeralds. And what this is actually going to do is when your health goes below 50, it will fly to you and heal you for 24 health. That is juicy. That is more healing than a Reaper gets from a kill. Now keep in mind, this is 6 emeralds, but you don't have to kill nobody to get more healing than what the Reaper does. Pretty spicy if you ask me. On the note, we're going to hop into some Axolotl Amy gameplay here, and we're going to talk about some pros and cons of the kit like we normally do. On that note, if you like this kind of content where I can help save your Bobux, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps out a ton. And on that note, let's start that gameplay and let's talk about those pros and cons. Okay, now that the gameplay footage is rolling here, we are going to talk about the pros and cons. Now, to be honest, I got more pros for this kit than I got cons for this kit. And the cons ones, you know, those took me a little bit of thinking to do. Because to be honest, overall, I think this kit is more of a positive kit than a negative kit. I don't think there's any too big of flaws with it as of right now. That said, this is still a very new kit, so just remember when you're watching this video that if you decide to buy it, that just like today, Trinity got nerfed. Things that feel really good in Bed Wars tend to get nerfed later on. Just a disclaimer, remember that. Anyways, let's hop into those pros. So the first pro I got is you get an early game shield. So that first axolotl is 20 iron. Super cheap for getting a 10 shield that will come back occasionally. Like it'll use a 10 shield, then it has some downtime, then a 10 shield, then some downtime. This is really strong early game because this 10 shield could help you win, or your teammates, if they're nearby, they could get the shield. This will help you win early game fights more often. And then, of course, you know, this will make you slower to get to leather armor or something from somebody, which will put you behind. But, you know, overall, that 10 shield throughout the entire game is just pure upgrade, you know, like 20 iron at your disposal, and now you have a permanent shield for 10 shield occasionally. And how this is going to work is as soon as you take a hit when this is out, you'll see that you took half the damage. So the axolotl came in right as you got hit, intercepted basically 10 damage out of a wood sword fight, for instance. So you take 10 damage instead of 20. Pretty interesting. The next thing is you got an early game damage buff, maybe? With some testing, it might be bugged, but I thought maybe it was working in normal games. I'm not quite sure. Anyways, the damage axolotl is going to run you 50 iron, which is pretty expensive early game. It's a cost of leather armor, but it's not that expensive. So realistically, if this is not bugged or it gets fixed, because it will get fixed if it is bugged, it's going to give you a damage buff. Just like the shield, this is going to give you a little bit of buff, I'm assuming, that will lead the fight in your favor. So that's really juicy too for early game fighting. The next one I have for the pro here is the third pro, and that is that this kit scales really strong late game. So as everybody knows in Bed Wars, or maybe you don't know, but early on game you take like 20 damage a hit from a wood sword. But if you go all the way to the super late game, you and your enemy both have emerald armor, emerald swords, you're only taking 8 damage a hit. So something like the Axolotl shield that only blocks 10 damage, early game, which is only half of a wood sword hit, is now an entire hit from an emerald sword to emerald armor. Does it make sense? So anything that has healing or shields gets really potent late game because the damage falls off so hard in this game. So that said, this kit becomes a actual monster late game. If you make it late game with this and you have probably emerald or diamond armor, a good chances are you probably aren't going to die unless you fall in the void. Because listen, you're gonna have a 10 shield coming on and off with the blue Axolotl. Pretty nice, you know, that blocks 1 hit at full emerald fights, not too bad. But that pink Axolotl that costs you 6 emeralds is gonna swoop on in and heal you for 24 HP. That is 3 hits extra, not counting the shield, which would make it 4 hits extra in a full emerald fight. Tell me that's not a little too strong late game. So yes, this kit will scale amazingly late game. It'll feel like little buffs early game, and as late game comes along, if you buy all your Axolotls, you're gonna feel really strong. Next up, our 4th pro here is you arguably heal more than Reaper. Now Reaper, as we know, he got nerfed. He only heals for 18 health after killing somebody and eating their soul. The Axolotl, Amy, is going to get a 24 health heal as long as she spends the 9 emerald total. Well, it's going to be 70 iron and 9 emeralds is what it's going to cost you to get to the pink one, because you got to buy all the Axolotls to get to the pink one. But once you get that pink one, you're going to be healing 24 HP every time you go under 50 HP, or a teammate goes under 50 HP. So in a sense, it's actually better than Reaper because it can heal teammates too. So you're not only able to heal yourself, you're able to heal others. Which that's going to bring me into the next pro of this kit, and that is the 5th pro, and this will be our last pro for this kit. It's good in solo fights and in team fights, and I say this because if you're in a solo fight, you get your own shields, you get the healing one, you get the damage one, you know, it's good, right? Boom, you get all these nice buffs for yourself. Now let's say you go into a team fight and somebody in your team is taking way more damage than you. Your shield one might go over to him and help him. The heal one will go help him. Maybe another guy's getting hit and so the shield one takes off to him. And so you're good as a support in a team fight and you're good at supporting yourself in a solo fight. It doesn't get much better than this. I think this is probably one of the stronger kits we've seen come to Bed Wars. Although a lot of people do feel it's balanced, I do feel like it is really strong. It is balanced, but really strong. So there's probably more pros than that, so if you guys got any more pros, make sure to leave them in the comments below. I like to read through my comments. I like to reply to a lot of you if I can. And yeah, let me know what other pros you guys think the Axolotl Amy kit has. That said, pros are nice and all, but we got to talk about the cons of this kit to weigh it out. That way we can get a positive and negative side of this. So as we hop into the cons, I only got 3 cons for this kit, and like I said, I had to think them up a little bit. And the first con is going to be you have to buy Axolotls. And this is going to run you 70 iron and 9 emeralds to fully max out this kit. 9 emeralds and 70 iron is quite a bit of money to spend into these, but they are very strong. But, you know, we do have to count it as a negative of spending this amount of resources into upgrading yourself. Now, this should make you stronger because you're spending all this, but think about it. If you buy the Shield Axolotl early game, someone could get leather armor before you and beat you in a fight. Or, you know, say you go for the Healing Axolotl, somebody could almost get diamond armor by the time you get that with the same amount of emeralds. So you got to keep that in as a thing. This kit does have a very expensive cost, in a sense, to get these Axolotls. Now they are permanent, which makes them really good. The next con that we're going to talk about is Axolotls could help you could help your teammates over you. Now, so I've been in some fights where I'm taking damage, and because the Axolotl, Shield Axolotl, doesn't recognize who's the lowest HP and it shields that one. So say your teammate takes a hit, your blue Axolotl could fly off and shield him, and you could be at like 30 HP, and then, you know, you get hit and you're not getting shielded now because your Axolotl's helping someone else. So even though it's nice that this kit will support your other teammates and go other places with those Axolotls, it could work against you in the end game due to the fact that sometimes they will be helping other people instead of tending to you all the time. Not that big of a problem, but you know, it is something we got to think about. The third problem is the damage one might be bugged. I'm not actually sure if it's bugged or not. Like, it wasn't working in custom games, but I almost really thought it was working in my gameplay. Not quite sure. Either way, it will get fixed, so this won't be a con for long. That said, as you can see, this list clearly outweighs more pros than cons. So, should you buy this kit? I think this is really just an easy one to move on for my support players, my solo offensive players, my squad players. This kit is so versatile, it can be used in almost any game mode effectively, and it's overall rather strong, and you know, you get cute little axolotls. Who doesn't want a cute little axolotl to swim around them in the air? You know, it looks pretty cool. I think this is definitely a kit worth investing in. 399 Bobux, that's a big buy for me, and you know, on that note, guys, it's time to thank the members because this is the end of the video. So, thank you, Mama Peas, Redwood Deadwood, Insolence Axolotl, Steppin, and Shandy. Thank you all for being members of the channel. It does help out a ton. And on that note, guys, I'm Mortal Jellyfish, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.